Welcome back to That Conversation, and today we're going to be continuing our conversation with Pam Kennedy on culture and race. Hope you enjoy.
Afraid of diversity. I'm wondering what you think that they may be afraid of or why they're so agitated when we go from salt and pepper to salt,
Mhm,
pepper, cinnamon, chili,
mhm.
hot peppers. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
what do you think the issue really is?
Well, I think it's simply ignorance, like not knowing, so they make up ideas in their mind. Or now, of course, in the times of social media, they have lots of people making up their minds for them. For instance, if there was, and there has been, groups that have been extremely Islamophobic,
Hmm.
anti-Muslim, anti-Islam, those people, this, that, um, they're judging them on ideas that they don't even know, right?
Hmm.
They're judging them on what we hear in social media about the far extreme radicals of that faith, to which there are in every faith.
Including atheism and
And
Christianity and
yes, well,
Buddhism.
and what's the religion that's supposed to be the most peaceful, like Buddhism? Well, there are
Hmm.
Buddhist extremists
Hmm.
in South Asia
Hmm.
that are dangerous sects as well, right?
Hmm.
So because we're only hearing those horror stories, for whatever reason, people who are maybe not as exposed to things of the world, i.e., rural Nova Scotia, just simple folk, whatever, that they're making these assumptions and these prejudices on really inaccurate information. For instance, I was at a Dollarama a couple of weeks ago, and there was a lady there in the line, about three people in front of me. And I think the story from what I could pick up was that at the Dollarama they sell gift cards, but they don't activate them,
Hmm.
right? Whereas some of the bigger stores actually activate them on site.
Hmm.
These gift cards you would have had to sign in online and activate them that way. But this woman, she was there with her small children, I think about two or three small children, and she got it in her mind that she was really angry that they didn't activate the gift cards. Well, unless you live under a rock, you understand that many of the employees, not all, but many, are from South Asia or Indian descent and newcomers to Canada. And this woman lost her gourd and started yelling and screaming and swearing and whatever at this poor little girl who's, English wasn't her first language, but I'm sure she got the point of what was being said, and even called this poor little thing an CH
Wow.
to her face in a store full of people. And of course, I had to speak up a little bit. Of course, I did, without putting myself in harm's way as well. This woman huffed out, and I was so angry because I'm like, first of all, this little thing is just doing a job. If you wanted to have a job of any kind, maybe you could put your name in here as well.
Hmm.
And you would also then have to adhere to the policies that are made from Dollarama Canada,
Hmm.
you know, that trickle down to the store level. This little employee didn't make the rules. The idea that if you're a newcomer to Canada, you don't speak English, that you are somehow less than a human and deserve to be berated by in public because you're not from here, right?
Yeah, I think that the experience of someone who has gone to another culture and another country
Mm.
matters.
Yep.
I think that when you are comfortable being here for generations and
Mhm.
never having to experience
Yep.
another culture because you don't have to
Mhm.
because you're here, you feel like if this country is your home. Now, when I say
Mhm.
your home, I mean obviously Canada is our home, but
Mhm.
ownership of it and everyone else is just visiting or should be lucky
Yep.
that they're here. I think when you go to a different country and you don't speak the
Mhm.
language and you have your
Mhm.
dictionary out or you have to go
Yep.
to
You don't
school.
You don't know how to count the money properly. And what does this mean? And how do I know it's a completely different.
I would say that those that come here do a way better job than we do when we go over
Mm-hmm.
there, because when I used to go over there and I would be asking people, as you said, I open up my hand and I have all these coins and I don't know what this means and everything else. They
Right.
help me count my coins
Right.
and give them the right change and teach me the language and yes, no, and
Yep.
everything else. They're very, very
Mm-hmm.
nice. I
Mm-hmm.
have never had to count coins for anyone in Canada.
Oh.
I've never had someone open up their hand and be like, I don't know what to do with this money. What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that comes over here, by and large, and I grew up around a lot of Asians, a lot of Persians, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Filipinos,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of Indians. And
Yep.
they all have a better understanding of the English language than we ever would in any of their countries whatsoever,
Mm-hmm.
right? At all.
Yes, you're
And the way how
absolutely
they come
right.
over
Yep.
here and they get jobs and they work and they go through what you just described and persevere and
Mm-hmm.
then start owning things and start building
Yep.
things, they
Yep.
contribute so much more than people who just take.
Yes.
And I do feel that in a lot of time people's anger comes from a lack of understanding, for sure. They've
Yes.
never put
Yes.
themselves in that person's shoes.
Exposure. Yep. Yep.
Exposure, right, to different
Yep.
cultures, and also frustration. When you go to a different country, you usually start from the bottom and you
Mm-hmm.
take jobs that most people wouldn't, that are available, that most people that live there, don't,
Mm-hmm.
they graduate from, basically, right?
Yep. Yep.
Um, no one's fighting for those jobs
Mm-hmm.
most times, right?
Yep.
But when there becomes competition, because there's enough people now to actually, have a bit of a competition for those jobs, I find
Yep.
that locals get upset over the jobs that were
Mm-hmm.
always there that nobody wanted.
Yeah.
And now they're being
Yep.
filled by foreigners or people that are foreign to the country that have now come for
Yep.
what various
Yep.
reasons. And now all of a
Yep.
sudden people are upset that they
Mm-hmm.
don't speak perfect English,
Yep.
right? That they cannot take
Yep.
a perfect order, that they don't understand what
Yep.
your slang is, and all
Mm-hmm.
these different things.
Mm-hmm.
And so when the cultures collide, I find that that's when we start hearing things that sound racist. It's because of that lack of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I can give a perfect example. I used to live close to this place called Pacific Mall. It was an Asian mall, and that was my first exposure to really like the Asian culture. Now, everywhere I've ever been has
Yep.
always been like a Chinese market or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people go there, right? It's very multicultural. Everybody goes there because the commerce.
Yeah.
And
That's what all the best stuff is.
yeah, exactly. So and cheaper too, right?
Like you can walk by and just get Momo and keep going. Like, oh, hello. Like,
Yeah. It's just a different culture. And so
yeah.
I used to go there all the time, but I did see that it was very hectic and I didn't understand the marketplace type vibe that was there,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
until I moved to Thailand and I also went to Vietnam. And it was when I learned that culture. I have such a great appreciation for the Asian
Yes.
culture now. Oh
Yep.
my gosh, I love it because
Me
now
too.
I understand it more. I never
Yep.
was biased like against it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I just understand why they do what they do,
Yep.
and how they do what they do. It makes
Mm-hmm.
sense to me now, and it changes everything. And I
Yeah.
find that for those that have never had the opportunity of travel, for those that have never left the country, and have always been here, I think they don't know what they don't know,
Right.
and so they make it up.
And but to piggyback on that too, though, I think that's also it's lazy on our part
Mm,
because again, with the ability we have now between, with documentaries on Netflix and Amazon Prime and YouTube and the world is our oyster really. If we wanted to know more, we could, but like you said earlier, you don't know what you don't know. So, I'm comfortable here. This is what I know. The same friends I've had since junior high, and elementary school, and high school, and and I don't need to know. My brother's a lovely man, like moral, great dad, whatever. But if it doesn't affect what's happening in his four walls with himself, his wife, and his two kids, if it doesn't affect them, he's not interested. And I think that's a comfortable and privileged kind of way to live that I've never sort of experienced.
While I don't believe in race personally, like I believe obviously if you're a person of African descent or,
Hmm.
Caucasian, whatever,
Yeah, that to me is what race is. Everything else is culture.
and it's the experience. So,
Yes.
you know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, put it this way, I don't think that there would be a big significance in race, for example, if everybody was treated equally.
Yes.
I don't think that anybody would care. Nobody would be talking about
No.
race, really, other than
No.
like, hey, where are you from?
No.
Oh, I'm from,
Yeah.
Halifax. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Truro.